Welcome to day 37 of 100 days of ice cream. I can't believe it's already day 37, even though I can't believe we're only at day 37. Such mixed emotions. So, starting off the day, what time is it? 12 o'clock. It's lunchtime. With some Ben & Jerry's Boom Chocolate Cookie Core. Second time I've had this for the project. I was planning on doing Ben & Jerry's cinnamon buns, but then I grabbed this and I was like, chocolate sounds way better. So we're going with this. Going to the gym shortly after this. Hopefully I don't get any on my pants. I don't feel like I microwaved it long enough. Did a good solid 29 seconds, but I feel like it's still really frozen. Oh yeah, this is the one. Look at this core. Normally their cores are very caramely and easy to get to. This one is quite solid. All right, so this ice cream is mocha and caramel ice creams with chocolate cookies, fudge flakes, and a chocolate cookie core. So, before we get into it, if this is your first time watching the video, I'm trying to get better about this. So I know some of you just jump in. It's 100 days of ice cream where all I eat is ice cream every day, except I can have 500 calories out of my full 2,500 calories in protein powder and or alcohol. But 2,000 calories every day have to be ice cream. All right. So let's get into it. I know I like this one, so I won't waste too much time making you watch me eat it. Good, so forth. Let's go. Last bite. So much cookie left at the end. I was trying to make sure I have a lot of core so I don't run out. And I usually end up having a massive amount left. And my ratio's off. Anyway. First world problem. It's a good ice cream. It's definitely not my favorite core. But it's pretty good. Alright. So. Gym soon. What time is it? Gym real soon. But before I go to the gym, I want to talk to you about something that's come up quite a bit since I started this. And was just asked yesterday, the day before. So I've been meaning to make a video on it, but just for whatever reason, keep forgetting. So calories. How do I decide how many calories I'm going to eat on a diet? What influences the decision? Why don't I take them up and down? Why am I so confident in my number for this project? So there's lots of different calorie calculation sites out there, and a lot of them seem to give you very different numbers. Especially things like Myfitnesspal, which is phenomenal. But when you enter in your information, generally they give you a pretty low caloric goal. And I'm all about keeping your calories as high as possible while still maintaining positive progression towards whatever your weight loss goal is. So to get your base number to start with, you have to find a site that's going to give you something that's not crazy to work with. Like I know I've done some that say I need to eat like 1,800 calories a day, which is crazy. So I like to use the site active.com. I'll link it in the video so you can go right to it. It's just one of many that are good, but I know that their numbers are usually pretty solid. What those are going to give you is a base to start with. So when you're determining your calories, you can have one of three outcomes. You can have too many, or too much, rather. Too few, or too little. Or you can be just right. We want to be just right. What does that mean? How do you know if you're eating too few or if you're just right? It's pretty easy to know if you're having too many because you're not going to be losing weight or you're going to be gaining weight. I think the category that most people fall into though is too few. Too few means you're seeing dramatic decreases in performance, seeing dramatic mood changes. It's very difficult to stick with. You're really hungry all the time. You're going to be hungry when you're losing weight. That goes with it. If you weren't, then everyone would have a six-pack. But you don't need to be starving. You don't need to constantly be this close to slipping and to coming off and to totally losing your mind. You're not going to feel normal, but you need to be close to normal. And you don't want to be losing too fast. You don't want to be losing like more than 3 pounds a week. For the most part. Everybody's a little different. If you have tons and tons and tons of weight to lose, then you're going to be losing more than someone who is trying to get down to 8% body fat from 12. But for the most part, you want to have a gradual, sustainable weight loss. So just right is going to mean it seems pretty maintainable. You'll have hard days, you'll have hard nights, you'll have hard periods. But for the most part, you feel decent. Gym performance might drop a little bit. You might lose a little strength. You might lose a little endurance. You might lose a little motivation. I lose all those. But you're able to go to the gym. You're able to still hit close to the numbers you were putting up before. You're able to run close to as far or close to as fast. And your mood, it might be altered a little bit, but it's not horrible. You don't hate your family the whole time. Mood is a big thing that can be affected by diet. So you need to be careful with that because it's hard enough to stick to something when you're starving, but when you're starving and angry, other than just being hungry, that's a problem. So once we find that optimal place, that's where we want to stay. I'm not a big believer in dropping calories slowly or quickly. A lot of the times people will drop calories every, 10 pounds, drop another 200 calories, something like that, or over a course of time. I used to do that. I don't anymore. It's probably been 7 years since I've done a diet where I've dropped any calories. Like on the first abs and ice cream thing, where I started at probably 170 something pounds and started at 2,400 calories. I ended at 2,400 calories in the low 160s. Started this at 2,500 at 192 pounds. I'm 176 this morning. Still haven't dropped calories. I can get down to 160. They're going to stay the same. Your calories shouldn't need to be dropped. If you're not trying to do like a figure competition or bodybuilding or something, you don't need to go that low. You're going to be able to get very lean without adjusting your calories if they're optimized. But that's all great. But how do we get there? How do you find what your optimum number is? How do I know what mine is? So it's basically just trial and error. Unfortunately, there's no way for me to look at how much you weigh, look at how old you are, any of that stuff and say, this is your number, stick with that. You kind of got to mess around with it. So that's why the sites like active.com with those calculators are great because you get a number. I think mine's 3,350. You start at that number, see how it goes for a week or two, and then you take a couple hundred calories off. Take off 200. Go for another week, take off 200. Go for another week, you adjust it up or down depending on how it's going. So I know that anywhere from 3,000 to 3,500, I'm going to be basically maintaining. But then when I get down to 26 to 2,400, that's when the weight just starts falling off. I can see changes almost every day. And I just know this because I've done it for so long. I've played around with it. I'd gone really low. I've done diets where I went as low as like 1,600 calories, which is terrible. Courtney, on the rare occasion that she wants to count calories and actually try to get in really good shape, I've never taken her below 1,700, I don't think. Girls really have the tendency to go too low. Guys a lot too. I talked to a guy the other day that was at about 1,600. I'm like, you're crazy. You can't do that. And it's not their fault. You just don't know. You just think the less you eat, the better. But that's not the case. You need to eat enough to fuel yourself, to keep your motivation up, to keep your performance up. The main thing is you need to have the mindset of you want to eat as much as possible on a diet. Not as little as possible, as much as possible. You want to eat the very most you can while still maintaining consistent fat loss. Workout is done. So today was a very, very low energy day. It actually started off good. I did back and legs. So I did legs first last time. I sound like I'm losing my voice. I don't know what's going on. But I started off with back. Back actually felt great. So I guess that's not too out of the norm. I've been having a lot of half good, half bad workouts lately. But started off good with back and then legs was just but it is what it is. Like I've said before, I do not expect to maintain everything on a cut. I just kind of deal with it and worry about rebuilding it when the cut's over. So, all things considered, it's a good workout, got it in. Now I gotta go get Arson from school. Dude, I don't know what is up with my voice. I feel like it sounds so weird. All right, let's go get Arson. What's up? Time to finish out the day. It's late, way later than it's been lately. I haven't had any nighttime eating in a while. Today was just busy. Courtney just got back Courtney just got back from Target, so I was home with the kids forever because, early going to Target takes about a day and a half. Drinking a beer. Actually having a beer today. Bear Republic Racer 5. IPA. If you haven't had these, find them. They are real good. So, I'm gonna foam up. God, I've lost my ability to drink out of a bottle correctly. Every time I have a beer lately, it foams up like every sip. Okay, so we are finishing up with a double chocolate Magnum. The last one, just hit myself right in the forehead. And some more of the Spumoni. We'll eat the Spumoni first and then finish up with the Magnum. Is this blue? Hold on, let me re-white balance this real quick. No? All right, I guess it's all right. Okay, so what's that? I think I forgot a napkin. Luckily there's one waiting because my side of the bed is a disaster. I forgot to even put up my Ben & Jerry's container earlier and it was on the floor. So I need to get it together. Today has felt so hectic. I feel like I haven't had time for anything. Oh, so I did a podcast earlier, my first podcast. And I will put the link to it probably in tomorrow's video. I'm not sure when it's gonna be posted, but it went really well. It was fun. So expect that in the next day or two, hopefully. Should have it up. So I'll talk about it again when it's ready and then put the link in the description. So, but anyway, yeah, I feel like I had no time. Like, woke up, Courtney has this like play date thing that she goes to sometimes at the library. So she took Range to that. So I was home alone with Baird, so I couldn't really do anything then. And that didn't even take that long, but it felt like forever. And then she comes home and then I had the podcast. And then seems like right after that, I went to the gym. And when I got home from the gym, Courtney went to Target and she got home and we made dinner. And now I'm eating ice cream and it's like, what time is it? I mean, it's only 6 o'clock, but I mean, I don't know. With my schedule for getting things done, it seems late. Let me move the camera a little bit. I need another light. Okay, so before the Magnum melts in the wrapper, let's start eating this stuff. Last bite. Done with that. On to the Magnum. Looks so small. Last bite, I think. I've really lost my love for these. I used to think they were so good, but they're really pretty boring. I hardly ever bought them just because they're kind of high calorie. Now that I'm doing this, they seem super low calorie. It's like 270. I swear, every time I'd see them, like, oh, it's way too many calories. But they're just really boring. Even that one, that was one of my favorites. The double caramel and the double chocolate are two of my favorites. I think I like those, and then the white chocolate one, which is a lot blander. Like, it doesn't have the ribbon of gooey chocolate on the inside. It's still pretty good. At least I remember it being pretty good. But I remember loving them. But now, yeah, not really. It sort of helps break up the monotony of just eating ice cream with a spoon. But I don't know. I don't even know if I recommend them anymore. It's weird. So that's it. I swear I was just thinking about something that I wanted to say. So give me a minute to just sit here like a weirdo and figure it out. Oh, right. So, I'm sure there's even enough light. If you have a big aversion to feet, you might want to look away for a minute. My heels have split open because it's so dry here and I haven't been moisturizing them or anything. Check this out. You got a couple seconds to look away. So, if I can get the dumb camera to focus, look at this. That happened a couple days ago, and it's like that on both feet. No reason to show you both of them. It's like the same on each foot, but it just happened, and it sucks. Like, it hurts to walk. Walking the dog sucks. I can't even imagine if I was like trying to do a cardio routine right now. Like, it's terrible. Even going to the gym, I was just like, oh my God, walking from anything. Because every step is just like, opening it, opening it, opening it. It's the worst. I had something, I'm not gonna say similar, but my last bad foot thing, other than in selection when my feet were just covered in blisters and just torn to pieces at the end.
What is your problem, 1-3?
The class is an hour into the log drills. Reality sinks in fast.
Oh yeah, just too much. You beat dummy then? That's all I need to know. Give me a 10.
A voluntary withdrawal means turning in your roster number. An immediate segregation.
Get your weapon and then stand by with those guys right over there.
We don't need you. Not one of you, all of you are weak. Hurry up, candidates. Roll.
This is definitely where it starts to separate the weak and the strong. We assess, but usually it starts here. They start assessing themselves. It's the time when most people realize whether they want to be here or not, really start setting in. You know, maybe I didn't prepare, you know, the physical aspect. Maybe I didn't prepare in the mental aspect.
What is wrong with you, candidate? What is wrong with you? Why are you throwing up over here? Get back in the pit. Everybody else is training but you, candidate.
The medics step in. Number 90 has completely lost his bearings.
You know where you are? Hash browns?
Team 4 is not the only team suffering.
You all right, kid?
Yeah, I'm fine.
In basic training, they give you, all right, so the Army issue boots. Some people's feet do okay with them. Some people's do not. Mine did not. Every time I wore them, which was every day, I either got a new blister or reopened a blister. So I had pretty bad blisters the whole time. But on our final ruck, which was only in basic, like, I don't know, 5, 10, 15 miles, something like that. 12 miles, 12 miles. The boot was a little tight, so every step I took, especially going downhill, my big toe banged against the front of the boot. And so by the end, it had caused this big compression blood blister under my big toenail. And it just stayed like that. Nothing happened. It didn't really hurt or anything after a little while, but there was a big, like, I'm saying, like half of my toenail was just a blood blister. And I don't remember if I've talked about it all yet, but just to briefly cover it. After basic, I didn't leave. I stayed and I lived in my drill sergeant's office for 6 months after that. And it's a whole story in itself. Like I said, I don't remember if I've told it. If I haven't, let me know in the comments and I'll talk about it. So after about 5 months, I'm like, this thing isn't going away. So I asked one of my drills, I was like, do you think I need to do something about this? It's just a big blister and my toenail wasn't growing. And he's like, yeah. No, what happened was I was sort of messing with it, and say this is my toenail, if I can get the right angle, I lifted it. I like picked it up and it lifted like 1/3 of an inch off of my toe. Like, you know, it's supposed to sort of be held there. It wasn't really being held there. It just started lifting off and it just stopped because I stopped. I was like, oh shit. So, and I looked under it and it was infected looking. It was all yellow and gross. And I told him that. He's like, oh yeah. He's like, I probably need to drain it. So he went and got a needle and heated it up and tried poking it through my toenail to drain it out. But nothing happened. He poked a few times. Ended up taking a little pair of scissors, no, toenail clippers, and cutting off literally half of my toenail where it was, and then scraping out all the stuff. And it wasn't draining because it had just stayed there and then solidified. So it was just like this kind of hard, kind of gooey stuff. And it's probably the best story ever. So I ended up having half of a toenail for a good, few months. But it never hurt at all. It didn't hurt when he was doing it, and it didn't hurt afterwards. You would think having half a toenail, especially having to wear boots all the time and running a lot, that it would suck really badly. But it didn't. Like, it had gotten so hard and calloused over under there that it was never a thing. It was just really weird. So that was my last experience with shitty foot stuff, like I said, other than some massive blisters I had to deal with for a little while. So I hate foot stuff. Is the worst. It's not the worst, but it sucks. So hopefully I need to start putting stuff on them to try to get it to heal. It probably is getting worse every day, but I'm terrible with stuff like that. So now that story time's over, that's it for the day. Let me show you what we ended up. I need to get better about this. So we are 10 calories away, right under 1990 out of 2,000 calories for ice cream. That is close enough for me. Other than that, please, if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe, hit the little bell so you know when I post a new video. And if you like the video, please like it. And the whole point of this is to get it out to as many people as possible. So if you'd like to share the video on Facebook or Twitter or anything, that would be awesome. I really appreciate it. And your friends will too, hopefully. You know, tell them to subscribe, all that stuff, all the buttons. And I think I had to take the dog out though, so see you tomorrow.